Angus Taylor and I had a chance to talk a bit earlier today. We talked about the obvious differences between the current government policy when it comes to climate change and some of the aggressive stuff that will inevitably be the case when the Greens are in charge, telling Labor what to do.
Well, we've learnt this week, Paul, that coalition driven by the Greens would lead to a banning of coal, gas and oil exploration in this country. Of course, the immediate impact is on the jobs and investment from those projects. We know 80,000 jobs are up for grabs in these projects in the coming years. $500 billion of revenue as a result of that, or of investment, sorry, as a result of that. And put that in perspective, that's $500 billion. The extraordinary thing about that is a third of that investment is for projects that will actually reduce emissions. And they want to ban them because they don't like carbon capture and storage or hydrogen, blue hydrogen. So they want these things gone. People will pay the price. Now, when you look at where those jobs are, they're obviously in Western Australia, the resource sector over there, the oil and gas sector over there as well, mining jobs in the Hunter Valley and Queensland, gas jobs in the Illawarra and down in Victoria, mostly in regional Australia. Of course, regional Australia always pays the price for these mad green policies. And we know Labor is always inclined to do deals with the Greens because at the end of the day, that's the only way they can govern, Paul. At the very least, they need to do deals with the Greens in the Senate. Much more, as likely, I suspect, is they're going to have to do deals with the Greens in the House of Representatives as well. And ultimately, that will mean all of these jobs and opportunities are at risk, as well as putting upward pressure on electricity prices and other energy prices, because when you take supply out, prices goes up.
Now, of course, Minister, for the past 2 years, we've been told follow the science. And the Labor Party says that they're not going to follow the science. Why? Because they're planning to spend $20 billion over the next 10 years rewiring the nation. The science put together by the CSIRO is that the actual cost of that project is $1 trillion. So do you think they're just pretending to have a fix and the fix is really a con?
Well, it is, and they're political fixes. I mean, we saw that with Kurri Kurri just in the last few days. We've announced the approval for the Kurri Kurri gas generator, as you would know. Labor said, oh yes, no, we backed that after having panned it for, or opposed it for the best part of a year. But their solution to it is it's all going to be green hydrogen, and they're going to have a significant amount of the fuel going into the generator as green hydrogen by 2023. Now, that will raise the cost. On top of that, they're adding another $700 million of capital investment with not a single new job and not a single megawatt. But it's a deal that's done in Labor to satisfy the left. And this is the real danger with Labor. They've got to satisfy the left of their own party and the Greens, and perhaps also the fake independents, for all we know. There's certainly already fake independents in the parliament, Paul, and they'll have to satisfy them. That's the only way they can govern, and we all pay the price, particularly if we're reliant on affordable, reliable energy, or we're reliant on jobs in those sectors.
And just finally, Minister, Australia rejected Bill Shortens' plan of 45% emissions reduction by 2030. That was just 3 years ago. Now we're supposed to magically believe that everyone wants 43% emissions reduction, but that'll happen in just 8 years' time. It effectively means this is exactly Bill Shortens' plan, but in different gift wrapping.
Right, and the gift wrapping is this very technical term, the safeguard mechanism. Make no mistake about it. It is a tax on Australian industry. And that is what they plan to do. And that is a price that will be very high for jobs, blue-collar jobs in those industries, for our regions, Paul. And as far as Labor's concerned, because they've been pulled further and further to sort of inner-city urban issues, they're always prepared to sacrifice those regional jobs and those regional opportunities. They're trying to pretend otherwise, but we know where Albo's from. He's from Balmain. And at the end of the day, he'll always think that way.